again, Karibu, welcome to our program, or Karibu to our program. Our program today, we are going to talk a few things, of course, always Pan-Africanist or Pan-Africa, and I think it is a good idea to actually talk to you about someone in Pan-African arena. A lot of people don't recognize him, but some they do. So his name is Patrice Lumumba. Patrice Emery Lumumba is the one we're going to be talking to you today. Again, my name is Imani Yohani Paulo. I'm the one who organizing this program for you, and the TV you are watching is Prime Media from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Every Saturday 6 p.m. we are in air, and don't forget also we have news, as you already saw. I hope you enjoyed it, and we also have Kiswahili class, or Swahili, those who don't want to say Swahili, which is going to be next. So after this program I'm organizing for you, which is today, we're going to be talking about Patrice Emery Lumumba. Patrice Emery Lumumba, who was he and why he's important when it comes to Pan-Africanism. Now, little short about his life or biography, I can say. Patrice Emery Lumumba was born in July 2nd, 1925 on what was known that time as Belgium Congo, now is the Democratic Republic of Congo. Patrice Lumumba died or was assassinated in January 17, 1961. Very young age, he was assassinated. So Patrice Lumumba was the African nationalist leader and the first prime minister of the Republic Democratic of Congo. June to September 1960s, that's when he was actually the first and the vice president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, the Dr. Congo, I mean. So Patrice Lumumba is a key figure among the people who talk about Pan-Africa because of his act or his deed in short time, but also him being able to give independence to the country DRC, Dr. Congo. Now, his early life, let me talk about this before I go to how he was assassinated and why he was assassinated. His early life, Lumumba was born in the village of Onalua in Kasai province, Belgium, Congo, which is Democratic Republic of Congo today. He was a member of small Batetela ethnic group, a fact that became significant in his later political life. He was to Principal Vicho Moise Toshombe, who led the breakaway of Katanga province, and Joseph Kasavumba. Joseph Kasavumba also is another figure who wanted to break away the Kasai province. I think you have heard about the fight between those provinces. Remember, DRC Congo still today don't have peace because some of these things we see today is originated from that time, back in 1950s and 60s. So Kasavumba, who later became the Congolese president, both come from large, powerful ethnic group, which they drive the major support giving movement, emphasizing in its all Congolese nature. After attending a Protestant mission school, Lumumba went to work in Kindu, Port-au-Prince, where he became active in the club of Evolué, Western Education African. He began to write essays and a poem of Congolese journalist. He also applied and received full Belgium citizenship. Lumumba next moved to Leopoldville, now Kinshasa, to become a postgrad and went to become an accountant in the post office and Stanleyville, now Kisangani. Stanleyville was Kisangani. There he continued and contributed to the Congolese press. In 1955, Lumumba became a regional president of Puari, Congolese trade union, of a movement employed that was no significant, as well as another unions into either of the two Belgium trade unions, Federation Social and Roman Catholic. He was become active in Belgium Liberation Party in the Congolese through the conservative in many way. The party was not linked to neither of the trade union federation, which was hostile to it. In 1956, Lumumba was invited with other on a study tour of Belgium under the auspice of the Minister of Colonies. On his return, he was arrested and charged of embezzlement from the post office. He was convicted and condemned 1 year later after various reductions of sentence to 12 months in prison and fine. When Lumumba got out from the prison, he grew even more active in politics. In October 1958, he, along with other Congolese leaders, launched the Congolese National Movement, or Mouvement National Congolais, MNC, the first nationwide Congolese political party. In December, he attended the first All-African Conference in Accra, Ghana. So that's when Patrice Lumumba actually he went to Ghana and he met with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, where he met nationalists from across the African continent, and he was made a member of the permanent organizer set up for the conference. His outlook and vocabulary inspiring Pan-African goals now took on the tone of militant nationalists. So from there, he changed actually the approach of liberation of Congo and Africa in general, changed to be militant nationalism. As the nationalist favor increased, the Belgium government announced a program intended to lead the independence of Congo, starting with local election in December 1959. The National regarded his program as a shame to install puppet before independence and announced the boycott of election. The Belgium authority, those are Belgium from the colonizers, responded with repression. On October 30th, there was a crash in Stanleyville, which is Kisangani today, that resulted in the 30 deaths. So 30 people died in the crash. Lumumba was imprisoned on charge of inciting riots. The political party of Lumumba decided to shift tactics, entered the election, and won sweepingly victory in Kisangani, 90% of the votes. So you see, when they get in election, they were able to win 90%. In January 1960, the Belgium government convened a round-table conference in Brussels of Congolese party to discuss political change, but the movement or the political party of Patrice Lumumba refused to participate without Lumumba because Lumumba was still in jail at this time. Lumumba was there released from the prison and from the Brussels. The conference agreed on a date of independence for which was June 30th the same year, with the national election in May. There was a multiple of party, the MNC came out far ahead of the election, and Lumumba emerged as the leader national political of the Congo. Maneuver to prevent his assumption authority failed, and he was asked to form the first government, which he did in June 24, 1960. Almost immediately after the June 30 independence, some unity of the army label, largely because of objective of the Belgium commander, Moise Tshombe, took advantage of the ensuing confusion, using it as opportunity to proclaim that the mineral-rich province of Katanga was seceding from the Congo. Belgium sent a troops obscene by the protest, Belgium national in the disorder, but the Belgium troops laid principle in Katanga, where by sustained Tshombe secession. Remember, this Moise, he decided to cut the Katanga as a province because it's rich in minerals, because he did not want to be part of Congo. Now, it was not Moise, of course, it was the Belgium who are doing that to divide the Congo, the richest Congo country. The Congo appealed to the United Nations to expel the Belgium and help them to restore internal order. As Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba did what little he could to address the situation. His army was an uncertain instrument of power. His civilian administration trained and tired of the United Nations. First, the presidents hold the question were considering to excessive and political alliance under his regime very shakily. The Belgium troops did not leave and the Katanga section continued. So now the Belgium military stayed there even though the country is already independent, and then the Katanga was still under division. Since the United Nations force refused to help represent the Katanga revolt, Lumumba appealed to the Soviet Union for a plan to assist in transporting his troops to Katanga. He asked independent African states to meet Leopoldville in August to unite their effort behind him. His move armed many, particularly the Western power, and the support of President Kasavumba, who pursued the modern course in the coalition government and favored some of the authority in province. You see, so they supported Kasavumba. He went to the United Nations first, trying to get support, and they did not support him, which we know this it happened to Ethiopia as well. When Ethiopia, second Ethiopia-Italian war, Ethio-Italian war in 1930s, it happened. Haile Selassie, the Emperor Haile Selassie, trying to go to the United Nations, and they refused to support him. So the same case happened here, and what Patrice Lumumba saw was like, okay, so since these people, they don't want to help me, I gotta go to the Soviet Union, I'm gotta go to Russia. And then when he get there, they get a little angry, they get more angry, and they decide to support the Kasavumba, who was the breaking away from Katanga's region. So now, after that, on September 5th, President Kasavumba dismissed Lumumba, but the legality on the move were immediately controversial by Lumumba as a result of the discord. There were two groups who claimed to be the legal central government. On September 4th, power was seized by the Congolese army leader Colonel Joseph Mobutu, later president of Zaire. Mobutu Sese Seko Wazibanga, who later reached on working agreement with the Kasavumba. So I think you have saw this picture I want to show you here. This picture was taken at Africa, at Organization of the Unity of Africa, with this Mobutu Sese Seko. Joseph Mobutu Sese Seko should not have been celebrated or even come to Africa Union, but, well, yeah, so you know what I mean. But anyways, so he's the one who led the coup and then become the president, who later charged the working agreement with Kasavumba. In November, the General Assembly of the United Nations recognized the credential of Kasavumba government. The independence of African states spread sharply over the issue. Meanwhile, on October, Lumumba had been placed under house arrest in Leopoldville, granted not only by Mobutu force but also those of the United Nations which provided him with protection. After the General Assembly decided to recognize Kasavumba government, Lumumba escaped from home confinement, sought to travel to Stanleyville, which is in the east, where his supporter had control. However, he was catched by Mobutu forces and arrested on December 2nd. Lumumba was initially held as military camp in Trusville, now Mbonza Ngungu, but concerned that the soldiers were sympathetic to him and Belgium Congo and Katanga authority to arrange for his transfer to different locations that they deemed to be more secure, and one would almost certainly granted his death. On January 17, 1961, Lumumba and two associates, Joseph Okito and Maurice Polo were flowed to Elizabethville, now Lubumbashi, whereby they were delivered to the scan. So anyways, this is pretty much how Lumumba was assassinated, but there is a lot of documents to show proof that Patrice Emery Lumumba was assassinated by the CIA of America and the Belgium military, but also, of course, they were the other forces behind that we haven't not discussed or we haven't discovered yet. Yeah, so that is the evidence that show how Patrice Lumumba was assassinated. He wanted nothing to do with the colonizers. That is why his voice is always heard. You will see a lot of people pick on the name Lumumba. So Lumumba was among the hero of Pan-Africanism, and he still as well, because his unwavering position when it comes to the liberation of Africa. So for Patrice Lumumba, if Congolese did not support his overthrow, possibly we will not have the tragedy that is going on in Congo today. So you need to understand that whatever you sow here, that's what you will harvest in the future. The Congolese people were accepted to be used by non-African to assassinate their own hero, someone who loved them and who fought for them. And for that reason, that's why you see Congo is not at the peace, it's not at ease. We're hoping that in the future there will be another Patrice Lumumba from Congo, someone who really want the good for Africa, but also for the Congolese, not those who are there to root and to destroy the natural resources that Congo have. As you know, today we have a lot of military bases. United Nations military is there to try to steal, let me be honest with you, because they have not done anything good in that country since when they arrived there. But not only that, they have been raping women and the children there. So it's something that needs to be ended. So for that being said, that was it for the topic for Pan-Africanists. Today, I'm gonna go to our next section, which is our Kiswahili class. Aya twende tetema, oh mama tetema, tipo tipo tetema, oh mama tetema. Aya twende tetema, oh mama tetema, shuka chini tetema.